Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over to Wayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, we got one car on the bottom of the 10 car.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hello and welcome to Richmond International Raceway. Glad to have you with us here for 160 laps with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek's Beer Design. Sam McDermott up here, joined by Tim Terry up at the broadcast booth, John Wessling pushing the buttons on the cameras, and J.D. Webfield folks hanging around, as well as Evan Pasoko joining us on pit road. And Tim, man, welcome back. And this is the second week you've been here on the Thursday night series with the Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting race. This is the third short track race of their season, Dakota, race number 9 in total on their season. And we're going to go through here in this little pre-race show, talk about drivers to watch, talk about drivers that really need to rebound. But there's a lot of storylines coming in, albeit it is early in this season. There's a lot of drivers to follow. There's a lot of drivers that really need to rebound at this race. And then there's a lot of drivers, I guess we can call them short track specialists per se. Compared to these 1.5-mile racetracks that we've been at, it's their night to shine.
It definitely is. It's a very tough track here tonight, especially with the Class B car that we have right now. It's going to be an interesting night, to say the least. But how about we go back to last week's results? I have Jose Gonzalez sneaking away with the win after leading 52 laps at Chicagoland Speedway. How about Jose? After starting second, winning the race. CJ Rivera came home in the second position after leading 7 laps, with Bobby Terrell coming home third. David Lanza brought it home fourth after starting 12th, and Eric Brundy's in 5th, leading 1 lap. Stephen Marinac and Scott Brotherton would make up 6th and 7th, with Stephen leading 37 laps. Rhett McBride came home 8th, and Hunter Davis 9th, with Doug Roth coming home in the 10th position.
And after that race, when you look at the point standings, Dakota, you have Stefan Marinac on top of the standings. You have Eric Brundys. Those two drivers really have been the class of the field all season long. 13 points in between them. And then it gets exciting there on back. CJ Rivera has a 9-point cushion on Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez really holds the hot hand coming into this evening. The last short track race that these drivers had, he finished 3rd at Martinsville. So he's another driver to watch to hold that hot hand, possibly get up there into that 3rd place position by the end of the evening in points. Wyatt Wolf Jr. 5th, Matt Lacrosse in 6th, Bobby Terrell in 7th, and Terrell, one of those short track specialists as well. He won Martinsville top 3 at Bristol, so watch for him to possibly have a good night here and sneak into the top 5 in points if all the cards play out the way he wants to. Then you look at that battle back there, and really Terrell's involved in this battle as well if he has bad luck. Clint Monahan, Jimmy North, Joey Hilton, 2 points in between 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then 3 points behind 10th is Rhett McBride, only 5 points out of position number 8, and only 11 points out of Bobby Terrell in position number 7. There's a lot of movement that could be made there this evening if one of those drivers has bad luck. So watch that little battle, and I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout the evening, Dakota. those drivers from 7th on back to 11th. One little miscue here at Richmond, and it's 160 laps of short track action and possibly some short track tempers. Could very well flare, could see that shake up a whole lot.
Definitely, and it's like you said, one little miscue could really cost one of those drivers, or all of them. I mean, it is a short track. They could actually somehow collect one another, I am sure. But not only one miscue, but one guy outperforming the rest of those guys could just walk away from this battle. He could leave today, with a 10, 15-point lead, depending on where everyone else finishes and how he runs tonight. So you definitely have to bring your A game to a track like Richmond International Raceway, especially with how tight the points battle is back there in those positions.
3 dozen cars as well getting ready to take the green flag as well. 36 will be taking the grid. Hunter Davis was quick in practice, but he botched both qualifying laps when he was going around here in qualifying Dakota, so he will start, well, no better than 21st, because 21 drivers did take qualifying time, and it appears that Eric Brundy's, unless something changes here in the next couple of minutes, will be on the pole position for this evening's race with Clinton Monahan and last week's winner Jose Gonzalez in third. So there's a couple of drivers that are up front near the point standings, are up front in this race as well, and a couple of drivers that were quick in practice missed the mark on the qualifying lap. They'll start near the rear, and keep in mind, Dakota, you mentioned this racetrack and this B car. It's a brand new build as well. The build came out yesterday, so I'm sure a lot of these drivers were trying to scamper to get track time on this race car, on this racetrack with the brand new build. A couple of things changing to possibly throw a curveball in this as well. It's going to be an exciting race at Richmond.
That it is, and Richmond International Speedway, located in Richmond, Virginia, seats 97,000 fans, so definitely going to have a crowd full here tonight. But Owners International Speedway Corporation opened in 1946 with 4 turns and the length of 3/4 of a mile, basically. 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 8 degrees on the front stretch, and 2 degrees of banking on the back stretch. Richmond International Raceway is an extremely interesting race, racetrack, and glad to come here for another, I do believe, another race here with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing.
And keep in mind with this one as well, we have a lot of drivers to watch here this evening, Dakota. Rhett McBride, Scott Brotherton, they're coming off 2 top 10 finishes. Bo McGuire finished 32nd last week. He's really in a struggle. Clint Monahan has missed the top 10 the last 3 weeks, but he's going to start in the top 5 this evening, probably going to start on that outside pole. So Monahan looking to turn his season around. I said it earlier, I'll say it again, Dakota, watch Bobby Terrell, really quick at these short tracks, and Stefan Marinek and Eric Brundy's both have top 5s in the 2 short track races as well. So watch those 3 guys.
And I tell you what, it is now time to go down trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
want a big shout out and thank you to the virtual Thunderbirds, the flyover you saw there in the national anthem. But now we're going to go ahead and go down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Alright, now making up row number 1 and starting from the pole, the 94 of Eric Brundy's on his outside, the number 1 machine of Clint Monahan.
The 11 of C.J. Levere will start in position number 3 to the outside. It's last week's winner, Jose Gonzalez.
Making up row number 3 will be Stephen Marinak, and on his outside, the 30 of Nick Silver.
John Wilco will start in position number 7 to the outside, 71, Keith Brooks Jr.
Row number 5 will start with the 9th position car of John Abbott in the 10 machine, and then you'll have the 10th place car, the 84 of Jimmy North.
Yep, Mark Bratcher starting in position number 11 to the outside, Doug Roth in 43.
Making up row number 7 will be Nathan Bowers in the 85 and the 33 of David Lanza.
Looking to continue his luck, it's the 15 of Rhett McBride starting in 15th, and Jason Lester, 92.
Row number 9, Bo McGuire, 50, and then the 2 of Scott Brotherton.
28 of Doug Fleming starts 19th, completing your top 20 is Randall Holcomb.
21st, making up row number 11, Stephen Almendo on his outside, Josh Cheney.
Starting back there, last driver to take time actually is Brian Harvey in 67 as the field begins to roll. Bobby Terrell, the driver to watch this evening, is going to start in 24th.
Matt Lacrosse rolling off 25th in the 21 machine, and Glenn Campbell rolling out on his outside, making up row number 13.
Wyatt Wolf Jr. starts 27th. One driver really quick in practice, Hunter Davis, will start 28th.
Making up row number 15, Eric Arnold, 47, and Douglas Wyatt, 12.
We got Joey Hilton in 31st. 32nd is Wyatt Wolf.
Augusto Capodoni going to roll off in the 33rd position, with Stephen Herring rolling off 34th.
Frank Coons, John Ellers, and Randall Watkins complete your 37 car field, or 37 starters that will be taking the green flag here this evening. The First Racing Ford Mustang pace car leads our field, Dakota, and we are one lap away from going green for 160 laps around Richmond. If you were here back a couple of months ago, the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, they went 200 laps consecutive green at Richmond. We'll see if we can pull that feat again.
Hopefully. It is a hard thing to do, especially in this car, the way we've seen a lot in practice. These guys just have a lot of trouble getting to the corners. The car not really spinning the track tonight. We'll put it that way here as we work into turn number 3. Pace car will pull off as soon as it gets out of turn number 4. It'll be green flag racing. Flagman has got the flag ready. He's just got to wait on the 94 to get to the position so he can drop that and they can get away. And there goes the pace car. Flagman drops the green, and Eric Brundy takes us to the green flag. He'll lead us to lap number 1 of 160 at Richmond International Raceway.
Yeah, Brundys didn't waste any time getting at it. Monahan going to fall into second. It's about side by side at 5th place, 30 on the inside of Nick Silver trying to hold off. I believe that might be trying to get a number on that car. That's Jose Gonzalez on the outside. Gonzalez going to fall back to position number 6, and now he's chased by Keith Brooks Jr. as they complete one lap.
It looks like Keith Brooks Jr. got the outside wall just a little bit, coming off forward, maybe to the trial. But Keith Brooks Jr. got a little sideways there. He's all right, but definitely not liking that because he got the wall, then he got sideways. So I have a feeling he could not be happy with that 71 machine. Behind him, how about John Abbott sitting in 8th position with Jimmy North and Mark Bratcher, the 2 cars trailing him, and even a little bit further back, 1 position back, here you have Doug Roth looking at the inside of Jason Lester, I do believe. Or Rhett McBride.
Yeah, they were 3 wide, or almost 3 wide for the time being. There is the 85, 15, 33, 92 cars. They all try to find their footing right now. The 85 is the one that's going backwards. That's Nathan Bowers in car number 85, just in front of them. Looks like the 15 and 43 getting at it. Let's include the 98 in that battle as well there. I believe the 98 of Herring is 1 lap down now as he falls back behind these lead lap drivers. So a lot of these drivers just around the top 10 getting busy. 15 up into the 33, contact made there. 15 caught that apron off corner number 4 and also caught the 33 as he came back on the track.
Yeah, but they're all right. They're still going 15, kind of going backwards. Now is Jason Lester on his outside in the 92 machine. 92 gets the wall a little bit. That will cost him a little bit of time. He throws it in deep, and he's going to lose time to the 15 to the center of the corner. 15 will clear the 92, and here comes the 50 car. That's not the 50. That's It is the 50 of Bo McGuire looking to the inside now of Jason Lester.
Jimmy North threw that car in there at position number 10, the 84 car, just in front of this little pack here. I don't know how he saved that car, Dakota. He's way up the racetrack, and he's still fighting a loose car in the number 84 as the 15 on that outside, couple positions behind them in about 13th or 14th place. They go at it, and the 7 car is making a charge to the front of the field. How about Bobby Terrell on the inside of the 15 of Rhett McBride, as here comes the 7 car looking to make something happen, and just in front of him as the 15 and 7 go side by side, the 50 car trying to hold his own of Bo McGuire.
Yeah, we got a name. We got a name from the driver of the number 7, and it's "Here Comes Bobby," because that's generally what you hear us saying towards the end of a race or any time in a race. Because Bobby, generally Bobby Terrell coming to the front no matter what. Started 24th, currently 14th, up 10 positions in just about 8 laps. What a run for the driver of the number 7 machine.
48 car up against the wall there. That's Frank Coons, as he is 34th as the caution flag, I do believe. It looks like we might be slowing down here. Yeah, indeed, caution flag is out. Saw that 48 car up there, Dakota, and it's one thing I'm seeing here early with a lot of these drivers. We have 6 drivers, 1 or more laps down right now. It looks like a lot of these drivers near the back of the field at least really haven't got a footing in this racetrack yet, and they're just trying to get out here and do some laps, salvage some points.
Yeah, definitely, and the caution does fly for the 67 machine. 22nd position, lap 8, heading into turn number 3. That's Brian Harvey. He just spins the car out by himself. Once he basically might have had it saved, but gets nailed in the rear by the 47 Eric Arnold. Arnold really had nowhere to go there. And that would just really, I think that might hurt both cars there a little bit more than they were wanting. But caution flying here.
A couple of drivers out in front throwing some fakes onto pit road. The one thing that I did see in that top 5 while we were covering around that battle for 10th was Clint Monahan in the 1. He goes from 2nd all the way back to 4. CJ Levere and Stefan Marinek will take positions 2 and 3 respectively, with Jose Gonzalez now completing your top 5. But Monahan, maybe it's not a short run car, maybe he's thinking long run, but of course it is Richmond and we tend to see a couple of caution flags here. So we'll have to see what the 1 car is thinking at this point as he runs in position at number 4. Still a long way to go here though, Dakota. 11 laps being worked on the board of the 160.
And I'll tell you what, pit road just got a little busy here. We had a few cars more towards the back come down. Evan Basoko, what happened on pit road?
The cars are at the back, like you said, with the new tire model in iRacing, can't get the handle on the car. The cars are extremely loose, especially off of turn 2. So they're going to come down, make some wedge track bar adjustments, try to get their groove. It's still early, so they got lots of time, but they don't want to drop back, because if we get long green flag runs, you're going to have to work your way up.
Thank you, Evan there. Evan Basoko on pit road. I believe this is, I want to say maybe week number 3 for Evan. Glad to have him on board, but I'll tell you what, working lap 12 under caution here at Richmond International Raceway with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing. We're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more action from Richmond International Raceway.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
welcome back as we pace here, getting set for the green flag. We're going to go around one more time, so we're going to go ahead and take this time talking about Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday Night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing, games for PCs and the Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at ISRTV.com. As I do believe we're about to go green flag racing, working off of turn number 4. Pace car's off, and Eric Brundys has taken off. Green flag is out, and Brundys is away.
Yeah, Brundys went at a different point that time compared on that initial start of the race, so kind of caught a couple of cars off guard as you see that battle for second. Marinak gonna take it. CJ LeVere stuck on the outside. Here comes the number 1 of Clint Monahan, and the 11 car, like the 1 car was in that first start, is likely going to go back to 4th here as the 1 of Monahan going to try to take position number 3. Monahan knows exactly what that 11 is going through, as now he's got Gonzalez and Silver just behind him in the 26 and 30 respectively.
And how about Monahan, who was 8th in practice with a 20.906. He actually ran just almost a tenth faster in qualifying and is currently running in 3rd position, but not for long, because here comes the 11 of CJ LeVere looking to the inside. That is LeVere in the 11 machine, sticking strong, but the 1 car not going to go. 1 car slides. He's going to lose a lot of time. Here comes Jose Gonzalez now, and Nick Silver trying to follow.
So it looks like he's going to continue the backward slide as the 00 and the 92 had a little bit of contact back there as well. I don't think that one is over. Just behind that battle with LeVere and Monahan and Silver and all those other drivers. 92 pitches it in hard on the 00. That is Lester and Bratcher is going to fight back on the outside line, as looks like these guys are slowing down again, as the 92 and the 00, that was almost a caution.
Almost a caution. I'll tell you what was the caution, though. The 84 of Jimmy North. He was 13th position, lap 19 in turns 1 and 2. He's racing side by side with the 44 of Glenn Campbell, and will just kind of make contact with the 44, spin himself around. It doesn't look like he makes contact with any other cars, but he is stopped in the middle of the racetrack. You see there for a little while before he gets rolling away.
He was one of those drivers that I saw in the first run of that race that was really fighting a loose race car and really just tossing it into the corner and hoping it stuck. And for the most part, it wasn't sticking. It was sliding around all over the place, as CJ LeVere is going to come on to pit road here. Jose Gonzalez, the 30 is Silver. So it looks like 3 of the top 10 or so going down towards Evan. Evan Wire, these guys coming down, everybody else staying out.
And that's the strategy. You guys got to predict the drivers, who's going to pit in front of you and behind him. And these drivers are coming down. Jose Gonzalez mentioned in the warm-up he had a really tight car. He says he got a handle on it, but it pushes a bit on the exit of the corner. So pretty much very small adjustments, maybe put some fresh tires on it, get back out there and see if they can drive their way up and pass the leaders on the next caution. So a little bit of a strategy going on here.
And they are away and have left pit road. Jose Gonzalez will be the first car off pit road with Nick Silver and Mark Bratcher. And then you have CJ LeVere coming around. I wonder if, yeah, he comes out the next car in line, and you have White Wolf, Stephen Almendo. A lot of cars coming out of pit road there as the field's trying to, as the pace car is actually coming around, probably catching them, so they had to get out in a hurry now. But Eric Brundys leads the field on lap 22 as we pace here of 160. I'll go ahead and try to talk to, why don't we try to talk to Eric on the radio? Maybe, yeah, I think we got him. We're working on it. And Eric Brundys, I do believe we have him on the radio. Eric, this is coming up at the broadcast booth. You get a copy, man?
I got you. How's it going?
It's going all right. You were second fastest in practice by 0.02 of a second, but a tenth over the 3rd place car, and you're currently sitting, or started from the pole. You're currently leading the race, and you haven't really looked back. Do you have the field covered here, first off?
Well, I think we're the fastest car, or at least top 2. It just he's going to be field strategy and just track position, staying up front, because we don't want to really be any further back than about 5th. Well, actually, or 1st. But I don't know. We're just going to wait and see what happens here. It's still early, so.
And Eric, man, what's the strategy with that? We saw 2 or 3 cars behind you guys come in, and then not so much the rest of the top 10, most of them staying out there. What is the strategy? Will you come in if there's another caution, or, when do you want to pit here?
Well, I don't want to show my hand yet, but I'll just say it's going to be similar to my Bristol strategy, probably, if everything works out.
All right, Eric, man, you came off, I remember, Texas Motor Speedway. You were one of the dominant cars out front in the long run. You came down to green flag stops. You lost it there. Did you take a lot of time to practice here for the green flag stops, and do you think it's going to come down to that here at the end of the race?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's much of a chance of green flag stops here, so we'll just try and stay out front and stay out of the wrecks.
All right, Eric, good luck to you here in the finals, or the rest of the race here.
Thanks.
And that was Eric Brundys, who is currently leading the race as the field doubles up, works through the backstretch, gets set for the green flag here at Richmond International Raceway. Pace car now working into turn number 3. Will pull off, and the green flag will fly just coming out of turn number 4. It'll be Brundys and Monahan on the inside, and Brundys is away in a hurry. Pace car got off, and Brundys took off, and he left a 24. Stefan Marinak basically a sitting duck on the outside lane. Had no way to know that Brundys was going to go that early. Here comes actually Marinak back to the inside of the 1 of Clint Monahan, and they got John Abbott and David Lanza back there for, I do believe, 4th and 5th.
You saw that one. Garza 24 got the apron in the middle of 3 and 4. Almost got up into the 1. Clint Monahan, but you saw Monahan on that restart right on the back bumper of Brundys and did exactly what he wanted to do. Take second place and now try to pull away a little bit from Marinak and the rest of this field as we work off corner number 2. Here comes Dave Lanza to the inside of John Abbott. Abbott in the 10 on the outside of the 33. Side by side for that position. 33 takes it, and just behind them, 7, 92, and 50 going to throw the pitch on the inside line. The 50 of McGuire looking to pick up one more spot on the 92 of Lester, as Lester gives him a little bit of room, maybe not by choice, as one car back there, about 5 cars behind this, smacks the wall, and that's the case at turn 2. You run out of room sometimes coming out of that corner.
Yes, you do, but caution is out here at Richmond International Raceway once again. This time it's the 89 of Randall Holcomb, 28th position, lap 27. I do believe we're working through turns 1 and 2. The 89, I'm not sure what happened to the 89 here. It looks like he goes into the corner, gets a little loose. I don't want to say he made contact. He just goes in and almost gets the outside wall maybe, and just overcorrects when he gets a little sideways and will spin the car around. Basically come back up the track, didn't really catch any. Oh, he did catch somebody. Two cars at the end of that wreck, and that would bring out the caution. 89 of Randall Holcomb.
And when we talked to Eric Brundys on that last caution flag, he said something that really struck with me. He said, I don't want to fall back any more than 5th. Well, I don't want to fall back any more than 1st. It just goes to show how big track position is here, and that gamble that C.J. LeVere and the rest of those guys took on that pit stop. C.J. fell back to 18th and obviously has not been able to make a whole lot of ground up on the 2 laps that we had of green. But I like that track position game right now, especially if we're getting some cautions here in this stage of the race with Clint Monahan in 2nd, Marinak in the 3rd, Lanza, Abbott complete your top 5. I think Brundys seems pretty confident right now, and with he possibly looking to take away another win and take away some more points and possibly move closer to that point lead that Marinak currently has, I think you need to have that confidence. Brundys, one of those drivers as well, Dakota, 2 top 5s in the 2 short track races that we've had so far this season. So he's got the momentum, and he's got the confidence, and he's going to back it up here, or at least try to back it up here through 160 laps at Richmond.
That's what he's got to do, and he can't do what he did at Texas. He lost the battle on pit road. It was during green flag stops, if you do remember, and that's what cost the 94 the win, and he's going to make up precious points. He's 13 points back. That's not a whole lot of points. I mean, it could be worse. It could be 30 or 40 points back, but I mean, he still has to make some of those up, and if it's going to be a little bit at a time with the way the 24 of Marinak is running, then he's just going to have to get wins, at least edge him out by a spot, have dominant races like he's doing right now, and you can't lose that on pit road. I mean, that's where it's going to cost him, I think. It's I mean, he's got to really be stout on pit road here tonight. That's the way you're going to win the race.
And you talk about those goals, obviously lead the most laps this evening would be one of them. He's 50 laps away from locking up that extra bonus point as we completed 30 laps that last time by. And then you have to get up there and hopefully keep that Marinak car in sight if you're looking at points. If you keep him in sight, he doesn't lead the most laps. He beats you by 1 position. Yeah, you're going to keep him in sight there, and you're going to have about 10 to 15 points thereabouts, depending on where you finish and where all the laps led points shake out by the end of the evening. So Brundy's Marinak, obviously the battle for the championship at this point. CJ Levere was 3rd in points coming in, and it looks like he's going to be scored in 16th place back there after that early pit stop. Levere has some work to do. Another driver that I was keeping a half eye on, trying to come up through the field, was really quick in practice, Dakota, was Hunter Davis as we're getting ready to go back to green. He's sitting back there in 18th place, and he botched his 2 qualifying laps. He spun off turn 2 on both laps, did not record a time, started back outside the top 20, and really hasn't been able to show anything. Davis has been strong in the select starts that he's made in this series, and he's really looking to put something up on the board. But right now in position number 18, the only thing he can put up on the board right now is weaving his way through traffic.
Yeah, I was really intrigued that the 7 is, 4 spots in front of him is where he started. He worked through the field quite a bit. He was up to 8th before the green flag, or the pit stop there. As green flag flies, you see the 1 kind of spin the tires a little bit on the outside lane. He's all right, but I mean, it looks like he spun the tires just a little bit. Might have cost him a little bit of time. He's now side by side with the 24 Marinak. Marinak is clear of the 1, and now Marinak sets his sights on the leader, Eric Brundy's.
Brundy's out by about 3 car lengths. Now here comes Dave Lanza. What a run he's had so far this evening in the 33 car. He's now up to 3rd. The 1 car back to 4th, and the 50 has the 10 on his inside. He's going to clear him going down into corner number 1 and pitches it in hard on the number 1 of Clint Monahan. Not close enough to make anything happen. Just behind them, they thought about 3 wide, and I think they are 3 wide back there around the All-Star car. That's the, check that, 81 back there in the middle of Almond, or the 81 is Steven as he falls back. 92 is back there as well, and he might have some issues there.
Yeah, caution flag is out, and hearing it is the 92. Lap 34, position number 22. Jason Lester heading into turn number 3. There's a big checkup, and you see the 92 checks up and then continues to roll like he was expecting the lane to keep going. And they checked up just a little bit more. That was the 40 car checking up just a little bit more, and that would cost the 92. And that was actually the 40 of Joey Hilton in front of him, but that would cost the 92 because he gets in the bumper of him and just backs up. And it looks like he makes contact with the 84, but it might have been netcode that put him on the outside wall, though.
Yeah, taking a look at that one as well. Like, you see that 92 and the 40 make the contact. The 84, it looks like he definitely got into him. Just really nowhere to go, nowhere to really anticipate that car slowing down in front of him. A tough break for that number 84 of Jimmy North. I believe this might be his 2nd caution he's involved in this evening, but really can't anticipate what's going on in front of him. I don't think he anticipated the 40 to slow up that much. 2nd place is on pit road here, though, as we work lap 36.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a very, good call, especially after hearing what Brundy's had to say. We know track position's important, and the 24 is giving it up here as he comes to his stall and to Evan.
On the radio with Stefan Marinak's crew chief, and they're thinking that the whole race is going to go like this with the green and then the cautions. So he's going to come down. His crew chief is assuring him, don't worry, you're going to slowly move your way back up there because everyone's going to eventually cycle through. So he's thinking for the future, get it done now, cycle through, and then hopefully they can get the time right because there's lots of calculating going on as he takes 4 tires.
Yes, he does get off and joins the rear of the field here. That'd be the 24 of Stefan Marinak, points leader, losing a lot of positions right now on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of positions for him to make up, and that's the one thing Evan mentioned. If we go green, then we go caution, green, caution, green, caution. We're going to go about 4 laps, 3 to 4 laps, and then we're going to see a caution. It's really a advantage to start on the inside line. We saw it with Monahan a couple of times. Dave Lanza is now scored in position number 2. He made up a bunch of positions, Dakota, by starting on that inside line. Now he's going to start on the outside. And if you're a real race car driver, you drive in real life, you drive in this sim, it's still the same. The leader controls the restart. In this sim, the leader starts in the inside line. And if you're that outside driver, especially if you're starting alongside a driver who's starting the race in multiple positions, when the pace car goes off, wait about 2 or 3 car lengths, or wait a little bit longer, you really can't anticipate what Eric Brundys is going to do. And if you're Dave Lanza, that puts you at a real disadvantage, because more than likely Clint Monahan is going to pass you, and more than likely a guy like John Abbott is going to be at your door before you even come out of corner number 2. So that outside line, especially at a disadvantage, and Dave Lanza, we're going to have to see how he can control the restart on the outside with your leader Eric Brundys to the inside.
Well, there's a few things you'll see David Lanza do. You'll see him kind of pinch down probably on the leader before we take the green flag. You'll see him get really close so he can hear the 94. If he can't tell when he's going to go, he'll be able to hear it from the sound of his engine, I do believe.
You can hear the sound of the engine. With that, you still have the one car that's going to be there. And we saw it in the last restart where Monahan was right behind the number 94, right on his bumper. So I think it's going to be a battle for second here, at least, with Monahan especially really aggressive on the inside line in these restarts. We're going to double up here. We're going to be one to go next time by. The 50 car as well at Beau McGuire. I've seen a couple of his passes, Dakota. He really tries to pitch it in on that inside line and tries to cut the thing, make it stick, and a lot of these cars, as the 50 was on a couple of those runs, gets a little bit loose. So 50 car is another one to watch here, especially on these short runs. A lot of these drivers will really be quote-unquote going for broke, trying to get every position that they can. I think the 50 is going to be one of those.
He may be. We'll find out. Here's the pace car, gets ready to dive, and it's off, and Brundys is away. Monahan, great restart. David Lanza, pretty good restart, but he's going to lose his spot to Monahan. Monahan not leaving the 94. He's looking inside. Going to be side-by-side battle for the lead. Brundys has the line currently because he's carrying a lot of momentum on the outside lane. And here comes Monahan. He's still sticking on the inside. He's not giving up here. He takes over the spot. Eric Brundys back to the second position now.
Clint Monahan making a statement here. He takes the lead for the first time under green. Eric Brundys now back to second. We'll see what Brundys really has, and possibly Brundys letting Monahan get out and use a little bit of his stuff, as he's been really aggressive on these restarts on this race. Fifth place is side-by-side back here with the 50 of Beau McGuire on the outside, 26, 21 on the inside. Matt Lacrosse gets loose off corner number 4, and he's going to lose one to the outside car of Nick Silver. And here comes the 81 as well. So the 21 has a moment. Could have been a lot worse, and it might be a lot worse here. 3 wide. Here comes the 00 on the inside, and Bratcher going to save it as he comes off too.
He held on to it. They're almost 3 wide again a few times as Bratcher tries to rejoin the track. And, man, Bratcher's going backwards in a hurry now because of that incident. He's still not up to speed. Now he is as he heads into turn number 1 side-by-side with the 63 of White Wolf Jr. Lots of action here.
Yeah, a lot of action, 2 and 3 wide. And we talked about the pace of this race. Caution green, caution green. You need to pick up those positions as quickly as you can. See the 41 and 21 side-by-side. They're just outside the top 10. That's at 11th place right now as Hunter Davis is coming back to the front of this field, looking at a top 10 spot if he can get up to the number 81 car just in front of him. 15 is going at it with the 11 of CJ Lever. Lever fell back on that run with that pit stop that he made. He's coming back up through the field. Meanwhile, Eric Brundys is back out in front of this field. There's action all over this racetrack as Brundys now has 2 lengths on the 1.
And I'm looking right now at the 24, the points leader in 20th position. Man, he's been racing the 63 for quite a while. He actually got sideways. He clipped the apron a little earlier and almost lost the car. Held on to it though, and now he gets around the 63 and sets his sights on the 00. He, however, has a lot of company from the 21st place car. That's Josh Cheney in the 65 machine. The 65 has been really all over the bumper. That 24 since they got started here.
And that 24, as you mentioned, trying to claw his way back up through the field after a pit stop. And a couple of drivers in front of them side by side. The 21 still trying to hold on. The 71 of Keith Brooks Jr., that's at about 14th place right now. The 21 going to hold that position. The 43 of Doug Roth involved in this battle in the 85 and Nathan Bowers. This is what the 24 wants, as the 21 nearly binds the farm and nearly goes into the inside wall. We've seen a lot of that off corner number 2 here this evening. As I was saying, that's what your point leader wants. He wants these guys to go side by side and possibly lose a car or two as the 21 is slow off corner number 4.
Yeah, he kept getting sideways. I think he actually had to get all the way off the throttle, just let it roll, and then get his stuff straightened out before he could get back going again. The 24, really, I don't think the 24 wanted to see that. The 21 was all kinds of sideways. That could have took out the 24 had the 21 not have saved that car.
And he's got a whole lot of competition in front of him, and beside him now 85 goes in the rears of the 24. Now it's Mark Bratcher in the 00 onto the outside of the 24. 24 trying to take away one more spot. That's a position number 16 right now. Drag race down the back straightaway. 24 not going to pitch it in there. The 00 going to take that spot off corner number 4. That's at 16th place. It's the 65 and 85 get close behind them.
Here comes the 24 to the inside. That's Marinac to the inside of the 00. Mark Bratcher. Bratcher pushes up the racetrack, and there it goes Marinac. Marinac's going to clear him, and no, they stack up behind him a little bit. That was, I do want to say, Nathan Bowers in the 85 maybe stacking up just a little bit, getting passed by Josh Cheney. Now White Wolf Jr. He's up the track. Nathan Bowers up the track big time. There's a wreck. Somebody's in the grass, and that would be the 00 of Mark Bratcher.
I think Mark Bratcher was going down there to visit Victory Lane, but it's a little bit too soon for that. I believe we are still green flag racing, as the 00 is going to lose a ton of spots here and a ton of positions. Tough break for Mark Bratcher after running in the top 10 in the early stages of this race. This is going to put him at least outside the top 20, probably about 25th or 26th there.
Yeah, very unfortunate as he comes across the start-finish line, and we'll update him on the scoring. And shown 25th so far. Yeah, it's going to be 25th position here.
And Mark Bratcher, a new radio host here on ETV Live Radio with the hammer, and he just had the hammer laid to him coming off of that corner down through the grass. I'm sure he'll be talking about that on his new radio show, as he is shown in position number 25 and last driver on the lead lap at this point, as he has Brian Harvey behind him 10 laps down, and both the leader, I believe he's almost on the same straightaway, if not on the same straightaway, as Mark Bratcher in position 25 as Brundys goes in to corner number 3.
Speaking of the Hammer radio show, The Hammer with Mark Bratcher and Greg McKinney, Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. on ETV Live Radio, underground and over the top, door slamming, bumper banging, wicked loose, and 3 wide. John, Mark, and Greg for a sideways, wall banging, no holds barred radio show about racing every which way but loose. The Hammer, Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. on ETV Live Radio, powered by the HD Radio Network.
Couple of drivers here near the back, falling back. Matt Lacrosse back to 21st again. Joey Hilton back to 23rd, as Joey Hilton, one of those drivers in the top 10 in points, looking to gain a little bit of ground here this evening, Dakota, as he runs 10th in points and right now 23rd on the racetrack, and falling back towards Mark Bratcher and Gabaldoni in 24th and 25th place respectively. A little bit of a green flag run here. Eric Brundys starting to pull away a little bit, as Clint Monahan in position number 2 is now 1.3 seconds behind, and Brundys is going to see some lap traffic in the way of the back half of this field. But here comes Dave Lance on the inside of the number 1, looking at position number 2.
Yeah, yellow flag is out. Nick Silver, 8th position, lap 58, turns 1 and 2. He's all kinds of sideways. He gets in the corner loose, and he stays loose. He spins the car out. You see all kinds of smoke pouring from the tires, and he'll hold it down on the inside lane below the apron. Should not get hit by any of the cars. Tries to get down and out of the way entirely before he can get rolling once again here at Richmond International Raceway. He may actually lose a lap out of this.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lap, as Brundys and Monahan will lap him under caution. Can't get going as he's nosed up against the fence. So Nick Silver will look for a free pass award later on in the race. With a little bit of green flag running here, we're going to complete lap number 59 this time, and your leaders are going to now come on to pit road. So we'll have a restart with less than 100 laps to go. And I'm assuming, Evan, these guys will probably have new tires and a little more fuel in their race cars when we go green.
And that's right, our first green flag run, so to speak, of the night. The majority, if not most, of the lead lap cars coming down pit road. Eric Brundys was the fastest. His crew chief has reminded him just stay consistent. Brundys happy with his car. He's going to take the right side tires, and he's going to put up for 4 tires. So not many things, but lots of adjustments on pit road. Like we said, the longest green flag run of the night. Some cars taking 2 tires. It's going to be a battle off pit road.
I'll tell you what, just a little over 100 laps remaining here at Richmond International Raceway. How about that? I do believe that Stefan Marinak has stayed out. He was the points leader, so don't count him out. 94, though, going to be the first car off of pit road with 4 fresh tires. But now that we're pacing it once again here at Richmond International Raceway, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break. Again, we are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
And we're back, and how about sponsoring in part with Inside Sim Racing of the RSR-Asphalt Assault Series on Thursday nights. Derek Spear Designs manufactures top-shelf simulation racing components such as pedals, shifters, button boxes, and more. Reasonably priced, this is the kind of gear a championship sim race driver needs. Bulletproof and boot stomping strong. See his gear at DerekSpearDesigns.com. Here as we pace at Richmond International Raceway. Never mind, pace car is gone, and we're green flag racing at Richmond International Raceway with Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series sponsored by Inside Sim Racing, and it is Marinak leading the way. Here comes Brundy, so he's up to third already.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. 4 drivers stayed out, including the 21 and 69, and now the 94 and 1 making their way through. Matt Lacrosse tried to get up there and see what he could do with these drivers on the tires, as it looks like the caution flag may fly here once again. Indeed it does. But that was a little bit of an aggressive move there, Dakota, with Matt Lacrosse trying to keep up with some of these drivers that had fresh tires. He almost cut down in front of a couple of drivers there.
Almost here as we're under caution again right away. Lap 64, position number 12, 44 car, Glenn Campbell going into turn number 3. He's racing hard with the 50 of, I believe that's Bo McGuire, and just comes down and actually gets into the 50 just a little bit, and that's going to turn the 44 around. 44 then collects the outside wall, ends up on his roof.
71 going to get a little piece of that as well as he goes through the wreckage there. Keith Brooks Jr., I believe, I'm not sure if there's any damage to that race car or not, but he did get a little piece of that 44 as he went by as well, so he may have to come down to pit road just to check that race car out. The 7 and the 10, I believe, also getting a little piece of this as well as we ride on lap number 66, and here comes Marinak, your point leader on the pit road. Josh Cheney also going to come down. I believe Matt Lacrosse will also head down. The only driver now, Evan, that did not pit under the last 2 cautions is Gabaldoni. He's still out on the racetrack in position number 8.
And the cars that have come down pit road, not relatively close to the front. Another quick caution. So they're going to come down, put 4 tires on it, maybe slight adjustments. The car acts different on cold tires and warm tires. So you got to get used to long runs, short runs, lots of adjustments being made tonight, and pit road is going to be busy, if we keep it this way.
How about the 24? He made a call earlier to come in without most of the leaders coming in. He came down, he got 4 fresh tires, and he was making up a little bit of time back there. Then he stayed out when everybody else came down pit road, minus 3 other cars, I do believe, and then a quick caution flies, and he comes back down pit road. I mean, what's the strategy there, being off sync with the leaders there?
And on the radio with his crew chief, they're trying to be unique. He doesn't want to be stuck in a pack with the fast cars. As he says, his car may be a top 5, but he needs a little bit of adjustments. He is definitely happy with the car, though, not to get wrong. But they want to be on a different strategy, see how things play out, try to differentiate themselves, so that way they can come up and be the surprise at the end of the race. Again, lots of strategy, constantly in communication with his spotter and crew chief. This is all being discussed. Like I said, lots of strategy here. It should be a good race at the end.
And how about that 24 at Texas Motor Speedway? Actually won 3 green flag stops. They should beat out Eric Brundys, who's currently leading the race here under caution on lap 68 of 160. Less than 100 to go now, Tim Terry.
Yeah, we're getting close to that halfway point in this event. Eric Brundys, Clint Monahan have been the 2 drivers that have been up front for a long while this evening. But then that differing pit strategy is going to be something to watch throughout the race. As we mentioned, just shy of halfway by about 12 laps in this event, so there's still a lot of pit strategy to be played out here, especially if we get a little bit of a green flag spurt that we had there. We saw about 15 laps or so of green flag racing. If we see that again, it's going to change the scenery, I'm sure, up in front. Gabaldoni has not come on pit road in these last 2 cautions where essentially everybody else did. He's in position number 6. But then everybody else has really come down, Dakota. How about Hunter Davis now up in the top 5? He's running in position number 5. Doug Roth in the 10th place position. Beau McGuire still up there. Bobby Terrell has been up and down throughout this pit strategy. He's in position number 7. So there's a lot of drivers moving around in this running order, with those last 2 cautions providing 2 really different pit stop strategies.
And I'll tell you what, how about that number 41? There was 1 car that was faster than Brundys in practice by 0.02 of a second. Other than that, they had a 10th on the rest of the field, and that was that 41 car. 41 spun it out in qualifying twice, and he made his way back to the field after starting 28th up to 5th. What a comeback for the driver of the number 41 machine, Hunter Davis. But up front, it's Eric Brundys, the 94 machine. Back up front, he has the lead position, and he controls the restart as the pace car gets set to dive. Pace car dives, and Brundys is away. Monahan on the outside is away as well. And here comes Jose Gonzalez, going to take over the 3rd position.
We'll see what Jose Gonzalez can do up in front of this field. He's been up in the top 10, but right now in position number 3 with Dave Lanza and Hunter Davis behind him. 2 strong competitors, 2 really quick cars in the practice session as the battle is for 3rd. Watch that 41 of Hunter Davis as he was top of the board in the warm-up session, and now he's got the 33 and 26 just in front of them as the 2 leaders begin to walk away from the rest of this field.
And how about Jose Gonzalez was actually last week's race winner, but now we're in car with Clint Monahan. So we see him get a little sideways there. He's all right though. He's going to lose a lot of time. The leader now. You see that gap getting a lot larger. That back of that car getting a lot further away. You see him throw it into the corner. I mean, he's driving hard in, making up a lot of time. As here in the 15 car in the grass, that's Rhett McBride. But still watching Clint Monahan go through the corner here. Man, he's diving into the corner, making up a lot of time here.
15 going to get going again as Eric Brundys and the 1 come down the front straightaway. And we've seen this out of the number 1 of Clint Monahan, especially on a run of 10 laps or more. He'll stick with the 94 for a little bit, and then you'll see him fall back off the pace, and the 94 will really just pull away. The 1 car still there. We're about 3 laps into this run, shadowing the number 94 as we come back across the stripe. 74 laps completed. Gonzalez about 0.8 of a second behind him, and then 4 car lengths behind the 26 is Dave Lanza, as these guys are going to come up on the 15 car who was just spinning through the grass of Rhett McBride. The 1 car, though, really putting up a fight here, and possibly maybe Dakota using his tires up a little bit more than Eric Brundys, as it seems like Brundys is just on the drive.
Yeah, what I watched was the one car when he was trying to run down Brundage, he was diving the thing into the corner really, really hard. Last time we saw Monahan take over the lead, he went away for about a few laps. He was able to drive away. Then he was, just fell back in a hurry. He lost a lot of time to Brundage. It's a 40 car inside wall, I do believe. Caution is out for Joey Hilton, who was spun around. He's trying to get the car going. He's back, stopped in the middle of the racetrack of the backstretch. 13th position last time by, lap 76. And not sure what happened with the 40 car by himself.
Yeah, he's gonna lose the handle in turns number 1 and 2 here, Dakota, and just absolutely loop the car. Nowhere to go, and he's gonna hit the inside wall with the 40 car. So add insult to injury with that one, all by himself to bring out that caution flag. Is Monahan coming onto pit road here? Looks like they're slowing up for the pace car. The top 2 are going to stay out. Jose Gonzalez going to come in, 33, 41. And probably about half of the other drivers behind them come on to pit road. A couple of drivers staying out here, Evan. The 11 is staying out, the 43 is staying out, but it looks like a majority of these cars outside the top 3 or so coming on to pit road.
And Eric Brundage crew, she said, it's up to you. He tried to fake a couple people out there, and that's the disadvantage of being the leader. You got to know, if you stay out, will everybody behind you get the tire advantage, or if you pit, will they stay out? So Eric Brundage doesn't like the position where he is when it comes to pit road, so people about 5th place and back is where the pitting started. So they figure put some more tires on it, almost a CJ Laver's strategy, as we saw him drop back to about 20th when he pitted real early, but he's up to 7th now. So there are so many different strategies going down on pit road here. It is crazy. It's going to be, this is crazy down here. So many strategies, good race going.
And a little over 80 laps remain at Richmond International Raceway. You heard it from Evan Pasocco himself. Pit road is crazy. The race is crazy. Strategy everywhere. How about the race leader staying out? He had a little bit of company, but was it enough company? Was it enough of a cushion to those cars that are going to be on 4 fresh tires? He's been fast all night long, but can he hold off these guys when they're, on a little bit fresher tires?
I think he can. It hasn't really been that long when you look at the whole scheme of things. We went 5 laps and then a caution, or 2 or 3 laps and then a caution. I think the longest run we had there was probably about 5 to 8 laps or so. I think Brundage, Monahan, Terrell, Roth, Laver, your top 5. Looking back there for the first drivers that came down pit road, I believe it's just inside the top 10 there, like a Hunter Davis or Dave Lanza and a couple of other drivers there as well. I think they've got a little bit of a cushion, and I think by the time those drivers get up there, I think it's really going to be enough time that we're going to be about on even keel as we still work caution. Eric Brundage, Clint Monahan have really been the class of the field. I'm interested to see here what the 7 car is going to do on this restart. Bobby Terrell, first time he's been up in the top 3, and he's going to have the 94 in front of him. Does he stick up to the back bumper like the 1 has on the 94 on previous starts, or do we see him letting the 1 into line? Be interesting to see what Bobby Terrell can do here at Richmond on this restart. He's one of those short track kings, per se, of this series so far this year. He's won one of the short track races and finished 3rd at the other one at Bristol.
Yeah, and the one he won was actually Martinsville, but how about Tim's Corner Motorsports, who said there aren't any race cars in Canada? Tim's Corner Motorsports, your one-stop shop for everything in racing in Canada, with weekly driver spotlights, photo galleries, and weekly racing news. Tim's Corner has it all. Check them out at Tim's Corner Motorsports Unplugged as well, where Tim Terry gets real, gets down, and gets it with live reports and interviews. Tim's Corner Motorsports Canadian Racing News at timscorner.ca. And Tim, actually, I know that's your deal there.
Yeah, we're going to have a new podcast coming out here hopefully this weekend sometime. Got to get some voiceovers done and put up in the show as well, as we got one driver stopped on the back straightaway. As I'm sure this will not delay the green, as he is on the apron, 94-1, getting ready to go back to green. But once again, check out timscorner.ca. Pretty cool deal over there. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car into the infield, 94-1, getting ready to go green. Slower start. Brundage bringing him down a little bit slower. Here he goes now. Green flag flies. The 1 of Monahan in second, but here comes that 7 poking the nose in the inside. Bobby Terrell looking to take position number 2, and the 1 car gave him that line there, Dakota. Gave him a little bit of room if he wanted to make that move, but the 1 going to get that run off the corner, and he's going to take back position number 2 and chase down the 94.
The 1 car made it look like he gave the room. I think he had the preferred lane when it came to racing side by side. He didn't have to deal with the apron. He just had a white line and plenty of racetrack. Big checkup back there around David Lanza in the 33s. Who race for the lead. Monahan gets sideways. He's going to fall back behind the 94 as the 94 comes back down the inside. But I saw David Lanza. He was in a big group of cars. That was a big stack up. And how about Mark Bratcher up there? Mark Bratcher actually was turning around earlier, if you do remember. Actually got really sideways. It was running about 20th, 25th maybe.
He was mowing the grass earlier, but he's got Hunter Davis in front of him. A little crossover move for the 41. Here comes the 33 of Lanza, going to pitch it in on the 00, 00, 3, going at it for position number 6. Lanza looking to pick up the spot. He's been strong all evening long and looking to get closer to that top 5 again, as Davis may have laid a bumper up there to the 7 of Bobby Terrell. If he didn't, it was mighty close. Davis a little bit aggressive here in this run as we just crossed the halfway point in this race. 85 completed this time by, and Lanza pitches it in on Terrell.
And he might be coming for Hunter Davis as well, as he's getting pretty close to the bumper of the number 41 machine. But yeah, he's coming. He's coming. 41 gets loose. 33 is to check up. 33 gets loose. And they're all right. They're still going into turn number 3.
And these guys are throwing it in every position that they can get. Very key here at Richmond is the 33. Dave Lanza now finds himself in 5th. Hunter Davis in position number 4 as Brundys now has about a car length on Clint Monahan. Monahan seems to be able to roll the corner in the middle of the corner well, rolls it in, just can't really seem to get that run off the corner. Brundys a little bit quicker off the corner, but guys, he has company as the caution flag does fly. CJ Laver was making some time on that as the 67 appears to be involved in this one. That would be Brian Harvey.
Yeah, 26th position, lap 77, heading into turn number 1. You see the 67 just gets a lot of help there, a lot of help there from, it looks like, Augusto Gabaldoni in the 23rd position, the 69 machine there, 23rd position car there. So that'll put the 67 in the outside wall hard.
Gabaldoni must have fell a lap down when he was on pit road, because he was on the lead lap and at one point was up in the top 5 with all that strategy going on. But tough break for Gabaldoni, just completely missed the mark there by the looks of it. And Brian Harvey will be in the fence. He's already 10 laps down, so pouring a little salt on the wound as the 62 car will receive the free pass. Wilco will be the 22nd car on the lead lap at this point, unless something else happens that one of these cars fall a lap down. I believe Gabaldoni, though, is done for the evening here, guys, as he has retired that car to pit road.
I'll tell you what, real fast before we step away, Evan Pasoko, did pit road get busy there?
It definitely did, and Augusto Gabaldoni coming over the radio apologizing for that incident also. He said he was going to try to look for the crossover and got a little bit excited, drove it in too hot, so he accepts full responsibility for that incident. But pit road seems to be busy every single time we're going to have a caution, so I'm assuming we're going to see more cars coming down with us on this time. But crazy racing, and we're getting our reports in here on what's happening. We can't keep up with all the strategy because it's changing lap after lap. So much communication.
And here comes the 50, and that's Bo McGuire, John Wilco. A few cars are coming down pit road again. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break as we work lap 90 of 160 at Richmond International Raceway with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing. We are ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over to Wayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it in the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, and we got one car on the bottom of the 10 cars.
And welcome back to Richmond International Racing. I tell you what, Tim Terry, Dakota Erman up there in the booth. But hey, this is JD Webb, the Cowboy. I'm down here in the hauler with Magic Fingers, John Westling. Want to bring you up to date on some happenings over at ETV Live. Check it out, etv-eplay.net. Channel 1 and Channel 2 coming on board. So there's a whole lot of racing coming your way here in the next few months. One of them getting ready to fire up on May 5th. This is CORA, Championship Online Racing Association, qualifying 3 nights a week. A trip to the bank on Sunday night, Cowboy. So you don't want to tune in at 9 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, May 5th, for Championship Online Racing Association. And I'll tell you what, how about Tim's Corner? Tim Terry up here in the booth, coming out with a new podcast just shortly out here. Looking forward to that. Well, let's take it back up to Dakota Erman and Tim Terry.
As I am Dakota Erman again, joined by Tim Terry, Evan Pasoko back on pit road. Here we go, getting set for the green flag as the pace car dives off, and Brundys is away. Brundys takes it to the green flag flies. It is Monahan on the outside of LeVere for second position. LeVere making a very strong run. Will he be able to hold off the one, though? The one's been strong on the very outside lane, and he's going to be able to. He's going to clear the one. Here comes David Lanza now, the inside of the one. Lanza's on pressure tires, I do believe, in the one as well.
This is a battle for second right now. Brundy's really schooling these guys on these restarts. 1:11:33. The 41 was up the racetrack there a little bit on that restart, but now he's found his footing and looking at the 1:33 in front of him. At the battle for third, one car, all kinds of sideways. Off corner number 2, he'll lose that spot to Hunter Davis and also to Dave Lanza in that number 33. Lanza up to position number 3 as he nearly loses it off corner number 4. A lot of these drivers really letting the rear end kick out on these cars here, Dakota. It's go time here as we're in the second half of this race.
Now we are with, looks like, I'm looking back here at Clint Monahan. He's trying to get back up there, but I mean, he looks like he's struggling. His old tires are really not working for him. He's kind of getting a little sideways off of every corner, just a little bit, but it's enough that it's costing him, as he's now being run down by the 7 of Bobby Terrell. Let's go a little bit further back. How about the points leader in 7th position? That's 24 car, Stefan Marinac, making a recovery after getting off in pit sequence.
Marinak's led a lap here this evening, but Brundys has the extra point for leading the most laps here this evening. He's locked that up a couple of laps ago, so Brundys will have that extra point. And right now he's got 7 extra points between himself and Marinac. So you look at it, Brundys is going to cut this point lead in half if it was to finish this way. And of course, we still have over 60 laps to go in this race. So Brundys looking to keep it where it is and hoping Marinac stays about where he is to cut the point lead in half to be single digits while we enter our next race. But Marinac still has a lot of work to do. He's got Bobby Terrell in front of him, and then the battle right now for 4th. Looks like Monahan going to try to throw it in on Davis here in these next couple of laps.
I tell you, I was looking back at the 65, who was 11th position, or currently is 11th position, man. He got sideways like 2 laps ago and stacked up everybody behind him big time. There was almost a large incident right there behind the points leader. That got interesting, but now looking back up the battle, you were talking about CJ LeVere and Eric Brundys. Looks like Brundys kind of running away, or he's got a little bit of a gap here, a cushion between him and CJ LeVere. David Lanza, all kinds of sideways off of turn number 4. He's now straight heading into turn number 1. Can he hold on to the car coming off too? 43 around. Hearing good look for the 43. No caution. Yeah, he's going again. It looks like very slow on the racetrack, 100 miles per hour. He looks like he's coming off of turn number 4 here, 13th position, lap 99, and just gets the apron, gets a little loose, and he's going to lock up the brakes to keep it down on the apron. No caution. He keeps it out of the racing surface, doesn't collect anybody else. Nice save by the 43, and he gets it going again. And I do believe is still on the lead lap. 14 seconds out now.
What we're seeing in the top 10 here, guys, is a lot of separation between these drivers. Is 65 at Cheney up the racetrack again. 81 00 going at it just outside the top 10 right now as Bratcher looking to pick up a spot as he is on the inside of the 81. The 85 is closing in as well. Of Bowers, I was about to say, Dakota, top 10, getting a lot of separation between themselves and really trying to log some laps here outside the top 10. It's a whole different story as these guys from 11th on back are going at it. 65 in the fence off 4.
Yeah, 58 laps remaining here, and looking back here at, how about the, who was that? 60, I think that's a 65 you were just talking about, man. He's going backwards. On the outside lane, he has a lot of company. There comes the 50, I want to say it's a 56 on the inside there. That's White Wolf on the inside of the number 65. 65 gets sideways again.
Yeah, 65 nearly got the wall again off the corner as the 71 is in this battle as well. Keith Brooks Jr. Got a little bit loose, I believe, off turn 4 as well. Stacked up a couple of these guys behind him. The 56 included in that of Wyatt Wolf. And you also have the 40 back there trying to come back up to the front. Joey Hilton on the apron and trying to keep control of that race car. He's going to lose one more position, maybe two, as here comes the 62 of Wilco. He was nose up against the inside wall in the back straightaway a few laps ago. So the 40 car was making that charge, and now he's making the charge to the back of the field.
A lot of cars here getting a lot of sideways here, Tim Terry.
Yeah, we've seen this all race long as a lot of these drivers, especially off the corner, fighting this as the 40 and 15 are now going to go side by side near the back of the field. I see the 50 car, I believe, up there trying to pitch it in on the 71 car. Beau McGuire's been trying to do a couple of moves here, and keep in mind he's 3 laps down as he tries to march his way back up, but we're starting to get at that point where a lot of these drivers really need to start making moves. One car falling back as well on the 24. Marinek is starting to close in on Clint Monahan, your point leader, trying to gain one more spot.
Meanwhile, lead position last time around off of turn number 4. Brunnies was he was leading LeVere, and he got all kinds of sideways. Lets LeVere go, and LeVere takes over the race lead and has put about 2 car lengths, 2 or 3 car lengths between him and the 94 there. I do believe LeVere might be on fresher tires than the 94 as well. And there's David Lanza back there in third, kind of creeping in the picture.
So we'll see what the 94 can do playing chase on C.J. LeVere. Keep in mind, LeVere finished second at Martinsville, the last short track race that we had for this series. So don't count out C.J. LeVere as he is third place in the standings. We talked about that pit strategy coming into this evening. Now he's going to be back in 18th, about 20 laps into this race. Don't count him out. He's leading this race right now, and he's got about 0.4 of a second on Eric Brundies. And looking at that last lap, he was 0.2 of a second quicker than the Eric Brundies number 94. So LeVere has a little bit more in that race car right now by the looks of it over that number 94 as the 94 falling back into the clutches of the 33.
Yeah, and the 33 is not alone either. It looks like he might have, 33 has to dive down underneath the 43. The lap car there, Doug Ross, we'll get a little sideways there, but the 33 has a lot of company from the 41, the fastest guy in practice, Hunter Davis, who again did not qualify very well, didn't qualify at all, started 28th and is up to the 4th position.
50 laps now, 49 laps to go for C.J. LeVere and the rest of this field. Brundies and Lanza, your top 3. 33, Lanza around on the front straightaway. He's going to take the 41 along with him. This will bring out the caution flag, and that could have been a bigger incident than it was. Dave Lanza and the 41 going around off corner number 4.
At 33, lap 111. Position 3, coming off of turn number 4, gets a little out of sideways, and then it looks like he just was expecting to have more room. Comes down a little bit, collects the 41, and that'll put both cars around. Not much damage to either car, though, looks like.
Another incident here as well, and I'm not sure which one's going to trigger the caution. Looking at the 28 car of Doug Fleming coming up off of corner number 2, and he may have got a little bit of contact after the fact from Douglas Wyatt. But the 28 car going around at the same time, guys, I'm not sure what triggered the caution. Pace car lights do not come off for a fair while, and I believe the 33 and 41 are already involved when the caution flag comes out. So 2 different incidents. I believe the sim may have triggered the caution, though, for the 33 and 41 on the straightaway.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They have an incident system here where, a driver that causes a wreck has to claim the wreck. The guy that claimed the wreck was Doug Fleming, but the guy that was penalized for causing the wreck was Hunter Davis.
So we'll see how that shakes out. Leaders on pit road, C.J. LeVere and the rest of them down to Evan.
And we've made it after another fairly long green flag run. The leaders are coming down to pit road. C.J. LeVere's strategy has worked to this point. They're thinking they're going to maybe get 1 or 2 more stops on pit road, so they're going to put 4 fresh tires on and get it out there. And it's going to be C.J. LeVere leading those cars off, but maybe a car took 2 tires to get some position there.
And I'll tell you what, LeVere is going to come off, I do believe, maybe second here to John Abbott. You see Hunter Davis slow on the apron there as Abbott now goes around him. Beau McGuire is going to stay out here currently, but 24th, 3 laps down. He's just trying to get a lap back, so it will be John Abbott. And then you have C.J. LeVere and Eric Brundies. leading the field here. How about points leader back to 5th position at Richmond International Raceway with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek's Beer Designs. How about Glacier TV offering many of the same high-quality components and commitment to their product as the ETV Live? Glacier TV is your first, best choice for broadcasting road racing events. Specializing in multi-class events with qualified commentators and reasonably priced, ETV Live is proud to endorse Glacier TV as the premier broadcast group for all your road racing needs. See them at glaciertv.com or contact them via email at sales@glaciertv.com.
The one thing that we've seen for the first time this evening in 115 laps is, for the most part, everybody was on pit road, and John Abbott takes the lead on the 2 tires, but C.J. Levere, Eric Brundys, Bobby Terrell, the leaders for the first time this evening, Dakota, are on the same strategy. And with less than 50 laps to go, I think that's going to stay the same for the rest of this race. If somebody goes down, if your leader goes down, you might see somebody stay out, but for the most part, I think everybody might be on the same strategy here for the end of this race. We talked about how track position is key. 40 laps to go or 45 laps to go. You can make it the rest of the way on fuel. Yeah, I think that the strategy might be done here unless we see a 25-lap run or so that's going to be really abrasive on these tires. John Abbott, we'll see how those 2 tires will handle. C.J. Levere in second. The one driver I'm going to watch, though, is Eric Brundys. He's on the inside line. He might be able to get the advantage on Levere. If he can get the advantage on Levere, he should be able to get past Abbott in the couple of laps or so that it takes. Abbott was a top 10 driver in the first half of this race, so the 2 tires might not be too bad. It might put him back up in the top 10 once everything cycles out. We get some green flag laps in these tires, Dakota, so it might not be a bad idea for Abbott. Maybe not a winning move, but possibly a move that's going to put him in the top 10 at the end of this race.
Definitely, it might be. With 44 laps remaining, it's going to be 43 laps remaining at the start-finish line. John Abbott, like I said, leads the field. Pace car will pull off of turn number 4, and will take the green flag. Here's what you got to watch for. The 11 has got to get the best start he can. 94 has got to try to stay with the green flag. Is out. Abbott's away.
And C.J. Levere is away as well. 94 go to the inside here as he tries to hold off Bobby Terrell and the rest of this field.
Remember, 94 and 11 on even tires now, as you see, is 7. That's Bobby Terrell now coming to the outside of the 24. Stephen Marinac, points leader. Marinac is now behind the 94. How do these two end up? It seems like nose to tail every race, as now C.J. Levere shoots to the inside of the 10 of John Abbott for the race lead. Levere gets a little sideways. He's going to hang on to it. Here they come now past at least the 94 is now to the inside of the 10 of John Abbott and looking for the lead, or second place now.
And how about the 24 as well? You mentioned him, Marinac following them through the 10 car on the outside line. 24 going to take that position number 3 away. And the 7 of Bobby Terrell also going to try to come through on the number 10 of John Abbott. 94 now poking the nose underneath your leader, C.J. Levere. In the 11, your top 3 beginning to break away a little bit here as the 7 and 10 went side by side. Top 3 come up at a corner number 4. 120 laps in the books. We have 40 to go as the 94 once again on the inside of the 11 trying to get there. The 11 pinching him off a little bit. And that's what you really need to do, especially coming off the corner. That inside car not going to have that run off the corner that the outside car is going to have.
Definitely one. Here comes Marinac. He's to the bumper of the 94, but it looks like he's going to fall off coming off of turn number 4. There's going to be about a car length now between the two as they head into turn number 1. Brundys gets a little bit better than Marinac, but here comes Marinac to the center of the corner. Oh, as Marinac gets all kinds of sideways off the corner, he's going to now maybe fall back to the 7 of Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell is here as well. He's run down your top 3. It's a 4-car battle now for the lead position as the 11, the 94, find a little bit of room. Here comes the 7 on the inside of Marinac. He is going to take position number 3. The 24 going to fall back to 4th. Dave Lanza now in 5th, but look how it's separated. Your 1st and 2nd and then 3rd and 4th place cars is the 94 laying the pressure on the 11. 123 in the book here.
There's the 7 car. Here comes Bobby. He's coming. He's up to 3rd. He won at Martinsville. He won the last short track race, I do believe, like you said, Tim Terry. Oh, as Brundys gets sideways in the 2nd position, will lose a little bit of time to Levere, but he's not giving up as he throws the car into turn number 3 and is still trailing that 11 car.
Trailing him for that position as it's about 3 car lengths in between your top 2 drivers. Bobby Terrell now in 3rd, Marinak in 4th, and Dave Lanza. I don't think Lanza's done yet here, guys, as he's in position number 5. I think he's got enough for 4th, and he possibly has a podium run here, I think, if he can piece it together in these final few laps. Clint Monahan is also making his way back up to the front of the field. Monahan runs in position number 8, and he's just outside that top 5. He's got John Abbott and Matt Lacrosse just in front of him. But I believe if we're looking for a surprise here in these remaining laps, Dakota, it might be that 33 as he moves to the outside of Marinak. Marinak got a little bit loose off corner number 2, puts the 33 in position number 4.
You mentioned that 1 car, Clint Monahan, currently sitting in the 8th position following the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. As J.D. Webb would put it, driving like a maniac trying to get through the field here. As he shoots to the inside, 21 loose. And how about behind him? I don't even know who that is. That's the 81 of Stephen Amendo getting loose too. A lot of loose cars, and it looks like Clint Monahan will correct on a loose car and get around him for 7th position. And now he looks to the guy on 2 tires who's in 6th to take over that position.
So Clint Monahan is looking for something here, a little bit loose again in corners number 1 and 2. And he might be seeing a lot of these drivers up in front getting spread out a little bit, trying to gain what he can right now for time, just in case this thing does go green to the end of the race. But by the way, these guys are racing back here around the 81 and 00 for 9th on back. I think we're going to see at least one more caution as Bratcher is going to make the move on the 81. The 15 going to try to pitch it in there. 81 slams the door off corner number 2. Brett McBride going to try to put something together here.
And I've been watching this 94. I mean, he's kind of a little sideways, but he's losing a lot of time back here to the leader. He's not making up quite enough here. And now I look back at the 00 to the battle. Oh, it's an 85 car in the grass off of 4 I do here. And that was Nathan Bowers, who was 15th position when he crossed the start-finish line. And you watch him come off and through turns 3 and 4. He's racing side by side with the 71. 71 gets loose, comes down, taps him just a little bit, hits him in just the left front just a little bit. That'll knock him through the grass. He'll come off slow, but he's back on the racetrack and moving in 18th position, lap 130 for him.
Almendo trying to maintain a top 10 run here, but he's got Brett McBride and Josh Chaney behind him in the 65, the 15, and also Wyatt Wolf Jr. back here looking to put something together. He's top 5 in points, so he wants to get every position that he can in the 63, and especially with everybody so close in and around that top 5 in points, every single point will count, especially in front of him. He's got 1 point that he can gain if he can get past Josh Chaney. Rhett McBride is in that battle as well, Dakota, in the point standings as a 15 car on the inside of the 81, looking to gain something here down the front straightaway as we work lap number 133. I'm sure Wyatt sees those 4 cars in front of him. A couple of cars overdriving right now. Look like the 81 may have overdrove that corner number 1 and 2. 63 trying to pick up a spot, as is the 2 cars in front of him that do 65 and 15.
28 to go, 27 at the start-finish line, so now 27 laps remaining here at Richmond International Raceway. But how about the 81, man? You talk about him maybe driving in too hard. I don't know what happened, but I know he got sideways, got the apron, corrected the cars. Oh, he gets sideways again coming off of turn number 2. 12th position, or was 12th when he crossed the line. Caution is out. And it is for Hunter Davis in the 41 machine. We talked about him being very, very, very fast in practice. 23rd position, 41 car in the back. Gets loose going into 1, gets loose through 1, and just spins out coming off of turn number 2 by himself.
And almost took out the leaders in that as well. Eric Brundys had to essentially stop to not run in to the number 41 because he gets that thing looped around. The 41 tries to find a hole in traffic. And, C.J. LeVere gets into him in the number 11. Your leader gets into the number 41 as he tried to get righted again. There's going to be damage to that C.J. LeVere machine as the 41 tried to get straight again, Dakota, and pulled out in front of traffic, and he's going to collect the leaders.
Yeah, the 11 car should have the toe knocked out. Something will be wrong with that 11 car, I do believe that, and just he actually had to give room to the 94 just for the 94 to get past to get by. That's going to be interesting as Hunter Davis has been disqualified by race officials. Now, before we step away for the last commercial break, before the post-race show, we'll go ahead and go down now to Evan Pasoko. Pit road is getting a little busy here.
And just like Tim mentioned, we got that 25-lap green flag run, and yes, the leader, CJ LeVere, did make contact. He's very worried about it on the radio. They're going to come down, get 4 tires on it. The team is inspecting the damage. He is hoping that nothing is wrong with it as he was pulling away with the win. So interesting news here for CJ LeVere.
Yeah, he's definitely being held there.
And he is still on pit road for repairs. So,
yeah,
lots of repairs, yep. Something's wrong with the number 11 team. We're talking to the crew chief right now. Front end damage. So that could end CJ LeVere's night, or at least his podium finish or the win. Tough break.
A very tough break, and looking at the battle off pit road, that's going to go to the guy who didn't pit. I do believe Bobby Terrell and Eric Brundy. So you have Matt Lacrosse, who was just running right around the top 10 position. Steven Almendo, who was hanging on to the top 10 before we had that wreck. David Lazen currently scored 5th with Marinac 6th. Those 2 were on pit road, so at least 4 cars on old tires, and 2 of them were up front just before the caution. We're going to go ahead and step away, take our last commercial break before the post-race show. We'll see you in just a moment.
Focus, 3 to go. White flag, clear by 5. Hit your marks.
An hour and a half ago, we started the show with qualifying in the pre-race show. Now it comes down to a 20-lap shootout. Green flag is out. Bobby Terrell has taken off, and we're now into turn number 3. Eric Brundy takes over the second position in front of Matt Lacrosse, and here comes David Lanza on fresh tires underneath the 21 of Matt Lacrosse.
Yeah, Brundy sleeping on that restart. He was on the outside line. The battle is for third as Lanza tries to take the position away. Matt Lacrosse, as the wreck behind the 28 is involved in this one. Caution flag will fly. It was almost the 21, the first caution there, the first cause, but he kept it straight. Doug Fleming could not. Wyatt Wolf also involved as those 2 drivers were up in the turn 2 fence.
Yeah, it looks like it is Doug Fleming, 15th position, lap 142, heading into turn number 1. 3 wide, makes maybe a little bit of contact with CJ LeVere, or gets close, pushes up the track a little bit, checks up, and gets run into from behind. That car from behind will actually be Wyatt Wolf Sr. Now it bring out another caution here. It'll be less than a 20-lap shootout here at Richmond International Raceway with the Real Sim Racing. The Real Sim Racing Asphalt Salt Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing.
And if you're just joining us, you saw the 11 of CJ LeVere on the last caution flag get involved with the 41 of Hunter Davis. CJ LeVere still has about 50 seconds or so of damage to repair of optional. Right now running in position number 14. I think he's out there for the duration of this race. I don't know if these guys are going to come down or not. But when you look at that, Dakota, Hunter Davis came on the radio, said, I really had nowhere to go, didn't see anybody or didn't hear anybody coming up through. He had 2 lapped cars there that passed him, and then the 11 of C.J. Levere comes up on him. The caution flag is out. C.J. rolls out of the throttle, and C.J., I'm sure, didn't really anticipate Hunter being in the way, and Hunter didn't see anybody coming, and I'm sure he had his relative up there keeping abreast of who was coming up through the pack, and a tough situation for both of those drivers. Hunter was parked for his second caution of the evening, and CJ is likely, as Evan said when he was on pit road, probably lost his top 5 run here, because with a little bit of damage, he's going to need a Hail Mary to be thrown. He's going to need a couple of cars, I'm sure, in front of him to have some tough luck and possibly get into each other for at least a top 5 run. He might be able to salvage a top 10 run here, but he's going to need something big.
You got a feel for C.J. Levere. He finally got up front and it looked like he was the car to beat. But now has that damage, just due to that incident. There wasn't much that could be done to prevent that. I mean, he did spin by himself and, came back up on the track. But, I mean, it was hard. I mean, he has to get going. He can't just sit there or else he'll get yelled at by race officials either way to get the car rolling. And it's, the track was clear at the time he started to roll. It might have took a little bit longer to get the car turned around and going than anticipated. That might have been what cost him. And unfortunately, the 11 and the 94 actually got really close to making contact with him as well. But that is shaking things up. Bobby Terrell and Eric Brundy's now up front of the top 2 on fresh tires. You look back at 3rd and 4th. How about David Lanza and then points leader Stephen Marinak? Those 2 are on fresh tires. Then you have Matt Lacrosse. He's on old tires. And Rhett McBride, I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys here on different strategies. Watch this restart, though, when we go. That last restart that we had, Eric Brundy's was on the outside, and he was essentially caught sleeping. Bobby Terrell was gone. Dave Lanza is going to be on the inside as well. Watch for Dave Lanza to get up here with the 54 as well. The 33, I talked about him about 20 laps ago. Could have easily been a top 3 finish. Lanza's in the top 3 right now, so we'll see if he can push forward any more than he is at this point. 14 laps remaining in this event. Lights atop the pace car are out, so we'll go green with 13 laps to go. Can Bobby Terrell hold on for his second short track win of the season, or can Eric Brundy's take away his first short track win of the season, his second win overall in this 2013 campaign, or can Dave Lanza throw something up here on the board and put together his first win of this 2013 season?
Wouldn't count as a 24 either. That Stephen Marinak, points leader. He's trying to get a solid points out of this. He cannot let Brundy's make up as many points as or a whole lot of points, because Brundy's isn't too far out. But here we go. Pace car's off, and there goes Terrell. Brundy's kind of caught sleeping there, and there comes Lanza to the inside of the 94 already.
That's the disadvantage of starting on the outside line up in front. As the 00 is around, we should have another caution here as the 94 of Eric Brundy's all the way up the racetrack, and that might very well save the second place position for that number 94.
Yeah, it starts this caution now. It's with the 00, Mark Bratcher, 8th position on the restart, lap 147 coming across the line for lap 148. Looks like he moves down to the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, and would put both cars around and collect quite a few cars. Because a lot of them had nowhere to go. You just see it, the Walmart parking lot there on the front stretch in turn 1.
Looks like Eric Brundy's will be in position number 2 here. It might have been to his advantage that caution flag come out maybe 3 or 4 seconds later, because he was up the racetrack. I think back to one of the Sprint Cup races here a couple of weeks ago, where Jimmy Johnson had that caution flag come out on him. I believe it was at Martinsville, where he was up the racetrack off the pace. Caution flag comes out. NASCAR deems that he didn't lose any positions. Eric Brundy's, if that caution flag would have came out about 4 seconds later, Dakota, he likely would have been in 3rd, which would have worked out for him because he would have started the inside line. Now he has to start on the outside of Bobby Terrell, and he essentially has to be at the mercy of the driver on the inside line. With less than 10 laps to go, if Bobby Terrell gets going and the race stays green, the number 94 might have a chance here. If not, he's going to need a golden restart to keep up with Terrell and possibly do some sort of crossover move. If not, Bobby Terrell may have just locked up his second short track win of the season. It's all going to depend on this next restart and what Eric Brundy's can do here.
when you mentioned that situation being rather similar, you do remember Jimmy Johnson went on to win that race.
But then again, we're looking at about halfway through that race, or just over halfway through the race. Right now with Eric Brundy's, we're looking at less than 10 laps to go. Time is not on Eric Brundy's side right now. If he went back to third, I think he would have had a better shot here. But with that outside line, leader controls the start. Leader can go wherever he wants to. It looks like he's been going a little bit later on these restarts. Let's say Bobby Terrell fools us and goes right as soon as that pace car goes out. Then Bobby Terrell is going to have control of this race, and it's going to be tough for Brundy's and Lanza to catch him, especially if they're going side by side. If Lanza times this right, he could easily take second here.
He could take away the win here. I'm not counting Lanza out. I've really got my eyes on the 33 machine. I think he's the guy to beat right now. He's got the tires. That's what you need at a place like Richmond. When track position is so key, he's up in third. He's on the inside on a restart. He knows when the leader's going, and he's got the tires. He's got way better tires than the two in front of him. He's the guy you got to pull for.
And looking back here for guys that need great runs, you look at Marinak. We talked about at one point during this race that Marinak's lead could very well be cut in half in the points by the time we leave here. Right now it's 2 positions between himself and Brundy's. Keep in mind, Brundy's has an extra point. We're leading the most laps here this evening, but that's only 3 points. It would still be a 10-point advantage going in to next week's race. Brundy's wants to gain a couple of more points, and he can do that easily by winning this race and beating Bobby Terrell, but easier said than done at this point. Marinak, though, also going to be starting on the outside line, which opens the door for Matt Lacrosse, Rhett McBride, and anybody else in that inside line. How about Clint Monahan? If Clint Monahan gets a good start, could easily pass the number 24 car. This race, far from over, this points battle far from over. We are doubling up and getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We will have 7 laps to go when we cross the stripe.
We will as we work through the backstretch here, heading into turn number 3, and it's going to be Bobby Terrell lead us to the green flag. When we get to that flag, it's going to be up to Bobby to get the best restart he can, and can he catch Brundy sleeping? I think that's what's been the big question during this pace lap. Here we go, pace car's off, there goes Terrell. Brundy's caught sleeping. Lanza is going to be clear. No caution will save him now, as Lanza is going to take the second place away from the 94 as 94 tucks in line. No! 21 makes contact with 24 points leader around.
24 of Marinak is going to lose a bunch of positions here. Caution flag will fly, and he will be, well, we have 16 drivers on the lead lap. We're going to get 1 lucky dog here. He's going to be in a huge hole. We talked about that point lead swinging. It's going to swing probably the way of Brundy's. We are going to have a restart to this race, guys, and Eric Brundy's is going to be on the inside line in position number 3. Question is, does he have enough time to catch Bobby Terrell when we go green?
That is a good question, and just want to say that, or point out here, the wreck was for the 24, 5th position. Again, points leader makes contact with 21. He just kind of threw the car in a little bit hard. 21 was up a little ways. 24 just using a little bit more track than he had. Gets on the 21, spins the car around, has a lot of damage. He got the wall. Was not hit by any other cars, though.
And you look at it right now, there's 13 positions between the 3rd place car and your point leader Marinak, and actually Marinak is going to gain 2 spots as 2 cars come down pit road. So Marinak right now, if the race were to end now, by my rough calculation, he would have a 1-point lead heading into next week. So that's how close it is, and that's how easy the points can swing in a series like this. And not only is it going to close in the 2nd place driver, CJ Lavera, he's only 3 or 4 positions ahead of Marinak, but it's going to close him in a little bit as well. Jose Gonzalez, there's a couple of drivers here that can stand to gain a little bit. Lavera and Gonzalez running 10th and 11th place right now, 3rd and 4th in the standings. Wyatt Wolf Jr., 9th place on the racetrack right now. He's not faring any better right now, as he is 5th place in the standings. There's a couple of drivers here that really could gain from this, but really need to get on the wheel here in the next couple of laps. The biggest winner through all of this might be Brundy's, and it might be Terrell as well. Terrell holding a hot hand here as he is leading this race, finished in the top 5 the last race we had at Chicagoland, won at Martinsville, top 3 at Bristol. He's 7th in points. He could gain a lot here. Terrell is looking for a top 5 spot in points, I believe, by the end of this.
And bad news for the points leader. He needed to get to pit road. He has an EOL penalty for claiming the wreck, causing the wreck. He could not get down last time. He was sitting on the track for quite a while, so he will restart last, and he just now gets down pit road on lap 157, coming across the line for 158 of 160 here.
So we will have 3 laps to go, or 2.5 laps to go now, as Bobby Terrell, Dave Lanza, they're going to start on your front row. We should have the lights out this next time by, and we will have a green and white on the same lap. I'm sure all the bets are off now. There's no friends on what should be a 1-lap restart. Bobby Terrell is in control. If he gets the restart that he has been getting the last couple, he should be your winner. But then again, if you miss a shift, if you spin the tires, it's very unpredictable. Dave Lanza on the outside line. We talked about that outside position in second really being a sitting duck. We'll see what Lanza can do, and we'll see if Eric Brundys can pull up his Brundys here and get a top 2 finish.
We will have to see here as we work here. Double file getting set for the green flag, the white flag at the same time. Tim Terry, it's going to be exciting. 1-lap shootout. No caution will fly so long as they make it to the green flag. Which is questionable here. We do have to keep our eye on that here as we get set for racing action as the pace car works through 3 and 4. Pace car getting set to dive off. It's going to be Terrell, Lanza, Brundys, and it looks like Terrell is away. Here comes Brundys. Look at the inside of Lanza. Lanza's going to be clear. He's going to shoot to the end. Yeah, he's going to be able to take the spot over. It looks like, is it Brundys? Oh, Lanza spins it out.
And Brundys now going to take position number 2. We're going to race this back to the stripe. Terrell is out by about 5 car lengths. Brundys, Lacrosse, Rhett McBride, and Cheney, your top 5 as they come up at a 4. Terrell wins at Richmond. Lanza, Brundys, Lacrosse, McBride, and Cheney holds off a couple of guys there at the end that were hard charging. The CJ Laver machine, John Abbott was coming at the finish of that as there's drivers off corner number 2 that are getting into it. Matt Lacrosse and the 00 of Mark Bratcher may have had a moment there, I believe, off corner number 2 at the finish.
It does look that way, but Stefan Marinak, points leader. What was the points leader? Will come home 15th. 13 positions it does appear to be behind Eric Brundys. And never mind, he does move up 2 spots at the end of the race due to, looks like some wrecking cars.
A lot of excitement there in corner number 2 on the closing stages of that race. The 33 of Dave Lanza, he just pitched it in way too hard, Dakota. Tried to overdrive it and really tried to clear and get time on Eric Brundys, and he overdrove the car. It spins out. It collects 3 or 4 cars with him, the 00 being one of them, Mark Bratcher, and a lot of other drivers that had great runs here this evening. Tough break for Dave Lanza. It comes into Eric Brundys' favor. Matt Lacrosse, Rhett McBride, and Josh Cheney, all behind your winner, Bobby Terrell.
And speaking of your winner, Bobby Terrell. Bobby, man, you made the old tires work. Here comes Bobby coming from the rear of the field, 24th position, and you got the victory, man.
Thank you.
And man, what was it like working through the field? Track position was so important tonight, and you managed to sneak all the way through from 24th to 1st position.
Yeah, I mostly just took my time and just took care of my rear tires because it was kind of a pushy loose setup, and I was just trying to keep my wear pretty even. And every pit stop, they were just like 1 or 2% of each other, and I wasn't overheating them any, so I was driving it real easy. And I figured that if I was driving that way, that I would figure that I had something left at the end, and it worked out. I had some luck too, so but it worked out.
And man, how grateful were you for those cautions at the end of the race that just really shortened your race there?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to race. I mean, it's just I would rather race. I was really hoping it would go green, you know, for 30 or 40 laps, just to try to get up there and try to race with some of the guys. Some of them were racing really, really hard. I noticed they were getting loose a lot. But you know, hey, a win's a win. I'll take it.
Man, a lot of sponsors on the car there. You want to throw any shout-outs here?
Muscle Milk, of course, and then Inside Sim Racing, ETV, Real Sim Racing, and you guys up in the booth for the job y'all do.
All right, thank you, Bobby. We'll see you next week. I believe you're 2 for 2 on the short tracks now.
Yeah, I like short tracks. They're fun. I didn't figure I would win tonight. I was just trying to get a top 5. I was riding a lot, just trying to take care of my stuff, but it worked out.
Well, there you have it, folks. Bobby Terrell, it just worked out for him here, and he's in victory lane. But tell you what, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the rest of your post-race show.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths. Put it half a second over Dwayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, and we got one car on the bottom of the 10 car.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway for the post-race show with ETV Live, and this is the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series sponsored by Inside Sim Racing. Now we go down to the second place finisher who's standing by with Tim Terry.
And it's a second place finish that I'm sure he wanted to be a first. After dominating this race this evening, 97 laps of the 160 led, Eric Brundys comes home with position number 2. Eric, talk about the run and those final couple of restarts.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing. Felt like we were the quickest car early on, and CJ was a little better than us on the long runs. But yeah, you know, it's been kind of a pattern as of late. But you know, something happened there with the 41, reckon, and we checked up to miss it, and somehow lost 3 spots under yellow. So after that, we decided to stay out and really kind of got dive bombed by some faster cars with fresh tires, but you know, it's alright. It's still a good finish for us, and I don't know, I think we gained some points in the leader, so you know, if we have to Matt Kenseth or Terry Labonte our way to a championship, a couple wins, fine with that.
1 lap to go. Dave Lanza clears you on the restart going down into corner number 1. He pitches it in hard, and he goes for a loop. What did you see out of the windshield, and what were you thinking as you saw that 33 go sideways?
Well, I had a nose under him, and I knew he'd drive it in hard, and you just can't do that at this track. When you drive it in hard on the high side, the back end, the right rear just comes around. So unfortunate to see that, but thankfully he slid up the track and not down, so we were able to make the pass pretty easily.
3 short track races, 3 top 5s, not a bad track record for this team. And looking at the upcoming schedule, it's a whole different beast coming up next week. We head to the Talladega Super Speedway. What are the goals there? Obviously, I know you're thinking points, but how do you think points in a wildcard situation like that?
Yeah, just survive all the wrecks. You know, I'm going to be honest, I despise restrictor plate tracks, but you know, we're just going to try and run our own race and just stay out of trouble and hopefully be in the lead draft at the end.
You got some sponsors on the side of your car, and I'm sure you got a crew that helps you work on practice and all the other things that go into this effort here on Thursday evenings. Who makes it happen for you?
I just want to thank Chick-fil-A, our sponsor, and teammates, and of course you guys at ETV for a great broadcast, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
There's Eric Brundy's coming home with position number 2 after leading the most laps here this evening after starting from the pole. Matt Lacrosse finished 3rd. He's down trackside with Evan.
And down here on pit road with Matt Lacrosse, a little bit different story. Started back in the 25th position. Matt, you managed to get a top 3 out of it. How was the race?
Well, that was strategy, staying in the back. I figured there'd be a lot of cautions. Track was fast, but car was loose, and I'm just fortunate that I had to wheel that thing so many times. I thought I spun out like 12 times, and I had to save it every time. And pit strategy helped right there at the end. I was hoping if I stayed out, we get quite a few cautions, and we did. So it kind of worked out in my favor. So.
And playing the strategy perfect is right. All night we were talking on pit road, the different strategies, the 2 tires, the 4 tires, when they come in. It worked out for you, and on that last restart, you started in 5th position on the low line. The car up high wrecked. The car below you was sideways on the exit of 2. How was that last restart in the end of the race?
Well, I knew that if someone got sideways, the caution wouldn't fly. So I saw smoke, and it was above me, so I just did everything I could just to not get hit, not hit anybody, and just drive on. And I know I was going to have a decent finish.
And executed it well, and as Tim mentioned, next week you guys are going to Talladega Super Speedway. Definitely a different beast. You did good at the short track. How do you think you guys are going to do next week at Talladega?
Man, you might as well just throw a dart at a board, and that's how that place is. You never know. I mean, you get teammates that work well together, and we got a lot of Fearless Racing, a lot of people that work together. So I'm sure we'll be there, try to be there till the end. You never know with all those cautions. We'll just try to avoid those and see what we can do.
So a great one for your number 21 car. Any shout-outs you want to give?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Quick Car Racing Products, Hippie Paint Shop. I want to thank RSR. They have a great league here. And I want to thank all you guys at ETV. You guys do a wonderful job.
And that's Matt Lacrosse in the number 21. Started 25th. He's going to get a top 3 at Richmond.
And how about the whole field here? A big hand for all of them and the drivers tonight. Fantastic racing. It was a lot of cautions at the end of the race, but that's what made it interesting and got Bobby to roll to victory lane. Either way, how about Dave Lanza spinning on the last lap in turn number 1? Just a big, interesting, I would say, series of events here, Tim Terry.
And it helps Stefan Marinak as well. He finishes 13th unofficially here this evening. Dave Lanza, Mark Bratcher, Wyatt Wolf among those drivers that he passed on that last lap that were involved in that wreck. Eric finished 2nd, led the most laps here this evening. Unofficially, it should be about even heading into Talladega, and we've seen Talladega before can produce some wild racing. We might see a first-time winner this season in that event. It's all going to depend on who comes out of that race on top and gives a little bit of momentum to the rest of this season. It'll be race 10 when we finish that race at Talladega. I think we're in for a surprise or two, especially with those guys being all but dead even in the standings. What was a 36-race schedule now essentially becomes a 24-race dash to the championship, Dakota. This is going to be exciting.
That it will. Next week, again, like you said, pick a partner, stick with them, keep the engine cool. That's how you're going to do it. At Talladega Super Speedway, it's the luck of the draw, really. Who's where and what lap. That's how you win at Talladega Super Speedway. But I'll tell you what, until Talladega Super Speedway, we're going to go ahead and step away. And we'll come back with you next week for more racing action from the RSR-Asphalt Asphalt Solid Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. We'll see you next week.